So you want to buy a SIM card in the United Arab Emirates, or let's just say UAE. Maybe because you're visiting Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or you're actually gonna live or you're already living in the UAE and just looking for the best SIM card in the country. Well, in this video I will tell you all about SIM cards in the UAE, including which SIM card is the best. So let's just get started, shall we? Hi! It's Adu from Phone Tours here, where we talk about everything related to traveling with your phone, such as buying a SIM card in the UAE. If videos like this sound interesting to you, make sure to subscribe. So let's just get started with the foundations is the operators here in the UAE. In the UAE you have 4 different operators. You have Etisalat, Adu, Virgin Mobile, and Swyp. The thing with Swyp that you have to be aware of is that it's a sub-brand by Etisalat, and you need to be between 18 and 29 to get this SIM card. For anybody older than 29, so 30 plus, you only have 3 options, which are Etisalat, Adu, and Virgin Mobile. So how much do SIM cards cost here in the UAE? Well, you can expect to spend 57.75 EAD on SIM cards. At least that applies to Etisalat and Adu. If you go with Virgin Mobile, the SIM cards are officially free, but you have to select a plan or customize a plan. The cheapest starter plan costs 36.75 EAD, if I'm correct, and the Swyp SIM card costs 103 EAD, which sounds expensive, but you do get some starter benefits, such as gigabytes, non-stop social data, and some flexi minutes. So it sounds expensive, but you do get something for it compared to Etisalat and Adu. If you are a short-term visitor or a tourist, business traveler, you can actually get one of the tourist SIM cards offered by Etisalat and Adu. In fact, you may not even have a choice. They may just only sell you these SIM cards, but I will talk about that a little bit later. With Etisalat, you have the visitor line coming in 2 versions starting from 125 EAD and 200 EAD with data and flexi minutes. With Adu, you have the tourist SIM cards coming in 3 options starting from 55 EAD all the way up to 110, also with data and flexi minutes. And if you're wondering what flexi minutes are, those are minutes that you can use for local use, so from a UAE number to another UAE number, or 100 plus destinations around the world. I'll show you a picture of the destinations from, I think, Etisalat or Adu. One of these operators has like 1 or 2 countries less, but that's what flexi minutes stands for. Well, a little bit earlier I said that you may be forced, or the operators, they might only sell you the tourist SIM cards if they know that you are a short-term visitor, especially Etisalat. They are very, I would say, they have a very strict policy related to the tourist SIM card. So if you're a short-term visitor, then they will only sell you, well, the visitor line, plus the validity of the SIM card. It's tied to the validity of your passport, or no, not your passport, of your visa, meaning that let's say if your visa is valid for 14 days, then the SIM card will expire in 14 days, 30 days, and so forth. Whereas the one of Adu, it's valid for 90 days and can be extended for another 90 days, and they are more willing to sell you a regular prepaid SIM card. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. And a special thing with Adu is, before the whole pandemic, they used to actually give SIM cards out for free. Although the starter benefits were very bare bones, it was still free, and then you could get one of the tourist packages with Adu. That was only available at Dubai International Airport, so not Abu Dhabi International Airport. I'm not sure if they will continue with this promotion after the pandemic, because, well, people are not really traveling as much. But yeah, once I have an update, I will probably make an update video related to that. Okay, so where can you buy yourself a SIM card in the UAE? Well, you have to go to the official stores of these operators or authorized dealers, like some countries around the world where you can buy SIM cards in supermarkets, kiosks, even on the streets. That's not the case in the UAE. Well, you probably can find it on the streets, but those are, well, you should stay away from them, let's just say it like that. And it's also possible to get SIM cards for free at Dubai Airport, at least from Adu, or you can buy SIM cards at Dubai Airport and Abu Dhabi Airport as well. Alright, so what about SIM card registration? Well, just like most places in the Middle East and most places around the world, SIM card registration with your passport information is mandatory. So if you go to a regular store or an official store or an authorized dealer in the UAE, make sure to bring your passport with you, otherwise they cannot sell you a SIM card. If you're coming from one of the other GCC countries, they can use your national ID, and the GCC countries are Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. So if you're from one of those nations, then you can use your national ID if you want to, because you can travel with your national ID to the UAE. Alright, so what is the best SIM card here in the UAE? Well, I actually have 2 best SIM cards, which is not uncommon for my videos, but it's for different reasons. If you are living in the UAE, so let's say if you're a resident or migrant worker, or you're just living in the UAE, go with Etisalat because they have the fastest speeds and the best coverage. Talk about coverage a little bit later. But if you're visiting the UAE, then I would consider going with Du. And that's mainly because of the thing I said about the two-way SIM cards and regular SIM cards. Du is more flexible or more willing to sell you a regular SIM card, or with more generous two-way SIM cards, which are cheaper than the ones from Etisalat actually. All of them, and like it goes all the way up to 110, and Etisalat starts from 125. But Du has slightly worse coverage and the speeds are a little bit slower than the one of Etisalat. Of course, you can also consider the MVNOs, but I usually focus on the main operators with the recommendations. Okay, before I talk about coverage and internet packages and stuff like that, you need to be aware that VoIP, so voice over internet protocol, or yeah, just VoIP, let's just keep it short, is banned in the UAE, meaning that if you want to make calls to, let's say, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Snapchat, it's not possible because the future has been blocked. The operators, all of them, so all 4 of them, they sell internet calling packages which allow you to use 4 select VoIP services, which I'm showing you on the screen. The price of these packages usually are sold as daily and monthly. The monthly ones are always priced as 52.50 EAD. You can also consider using a VPN in order to use VoIP services so that you can make calls with WhatsApp or Snapchat or whatever, but you need to be aware that officially using a VPN to circumvent this ban or in order to access censored websites in the UAE is illegal. But let's say you're using a VPN mainly for, let's say, trying to use, I don't know, Netflix USA or Netflix in another country, or just for something else that's not with the purpose to, well, circumvent this ban. Wink wink, then you can use a VPN. For VPN recommendations, make sure to go to ptw.link/VPN, and there you have, yeah, my VPN recommendation. Alright, so what about coverage? Well, as I said, Etisalat has the best coverage, followed by Du, but since they are the 2 main operators in the country, it's, you know, yeah, that's just the case. But it doesn't mean that Du's coverage is bad. On the screen I'm already showing you the coverage maps of the 2 operators, and it's quite, you know, extensive. In the populated places you will find coverage. If you go to the more deserted places, expect nothing or 2G coverage, which is too slow for modern data browsing. But 4G LTE is, well, widely available in the populated places. Same for 3G, and 2G even covers, yeah, the places that, well, people don't go to or live. So what about speeds in the UAE? Well, mobile speeds in the UAE are incredibly fast. And when I say incredibly fast, then I mean that the UAE is in the top 3 countries with the fastest mobile download speeds, challenging China and South Korea. The average download speed in the UAE, at least right now, is 109 megabits per second, and the world average is 36, which, well, will tell you that UAE is doing very well and speeds are very fast, mainly because they have a lot of submarine cable landing points in the country. But yeah, you can expect fast speeds with both Etisalat and Du, but speeds with Etisalat will be faster than with Du. So what about internet prices? Well, internet prices are quite affordable in the UAE. According to cape.co.uk, the average price of 1 GB of data is 3.78 USD, whereas the Middle Eastern average is 4.46 USD. So the UAE is a little bit below the Middle Eastern average, and the world average is 5.03 USD. So yeah, prices are affordable in the UAE, or at least when compared to other nations. Alright. Packages, well, these operators, all of them, they offer a lot of type of packages, so I'm not gonna go to all of them because you will be bored. But luckily for you, I have videos dedicated to the individual operators, so if you want to learn everything related to Etisalat, for example, I have a video about that, Du, and Virgin Mobile and Swyp. You can watch these videos if you click on the playlist up there, on the eye up there. But for now, I will just focus on one, mostly combo plans of these operators, so that you can get an idea of what these operators offer. But you can also go to ptw.link/UAE-guide, where you can, well, read it, but well, it depends if you want to watch videos or read it. Those are your options. But let's just look at the plans that the operators have, and let's start with Etisalat with the Warsaw Go plans, coming with data, flexi minutes, and favorite numbers. Favorite numbers are numbers that you can set up, and when you set a favorite number, then you can make unlimited calls to this particular number without it hitting your flexi number allowance or flexi minutes allowance. With Du, you have to do prepaid plans coming with data and flexi minutes. The thing with Virgin Mobile is actually quite interesting because you can actually customize your own plan, so you can set how much data you want, how much minutes and international minutes, all that type of stuff. There are some minimum requirements, but it's quite cool that you can customize your own plan. With Swyp, you actually only have one plan, which is the main membership, the core, the one that costs 103 EAD. And then you can add these add-ons, data for Snapchat and Instagram, or just minutes. So that's all you need to know about buying a SIM card in the UAE. Like I said, if you want to learn more about the particular operators, make sure to check the playlist that, well, I already showed that. I cannot show it again, but the eye is still up there, so that you can learn more about the particular operators. And the same if you go to my blog, ptw.link/ UAE-guide. They can read it there as well. I would also recommend you to sign up for my newsletter at ptw.link/newsletter. I'll send you an Excel sheet with the best local SIM cards in over 230 destinations, which gets updated once a month, all for free. This is especially useful if you are a frequent traveler. Once again, I'm Adu from Phone Tourist, where I talk about everything related to traveling with your phone, such as local SIM cards, SIM card reviews, international roaming, everything related to traveling with your phone. And yeah, this is it for the UAE. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you're visiting all the Middle Eastern countries, then the card on the screen is for you. That's it for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.